So in front of me, we have 5 Cartier watches that I believe every good watch collection should have.
And these are really staple pieces, just like having a great suit or like the little black dress. These Cartier watches are timeless and they really fill out any watch collection.
And I think too, what I personally love about Cartier, you can take your gender aside and just really pick a watch that you like.
Yep.
Within these watches, there are size variants, there are metal variants, there are dial variants.
Yeah, lots.
And with just these 5 watches, you can really complete any look in your wardrobe, from going to dinner to the Oscars to the beach to
everything. And Cartier was really, I think, the first watch brand to go gender neutral in that way. They just kind of based upon sizes. Yep. We see men wearing extra small watches, women wearing larger, everywhere in between. So
I mean, honestly, yeah. in my personal life, my wife wears a 45 millimeter Breitling. Yeah. That is bigger than any watch in my collection. I think it's more about the size of the attitude. It's the size of the wrist. So,
we won't
keep
dive
that in
too
mind.
much into that.
Yeah, awesome. Absolutely.
Well, if you're new to our channel, my name is Elizabeth. This is George. We're with Oliver Smith the Jeweler. We are Cartier dealers, plus we sell lots of different watches, both new and pre-owned. You can check us out online. We're also based in Scottsdale, Arizona, and Aspen, Colorado.
Aspen, Colorado. My favorite office in the company. Yeah, absolutely.
How about we start with the Tank? Maybe the most iconic Cartier, I would argue.
I would kind of argue maybe Santos, but first and second for sure. And I think right now the Tank is on a lot of people's minds, just coming out of the award season.
Yes.
We were joking about it at the Met Gala. I mean, this should have had a credit at the end. Everyone was wearing that watch. I can't think of a better watch with a tuxedo.
They did a great job, and we actually made a whole video on the Tank that's been super successful. So we'll link that definitely. The Tank has really become a classic icon in the watch world. Also talking about that quiet luxury that kind of whispers. Yep. You've got a Tank on, it's exactly that. You know what you're doing, you know how you're dressing. I think it's great with a t-shirt and jeans too. It adds some polish. And then more of the dressier pieces is great for more dressy moments.
Well, and it says nothing but good things about the wearer. I really like that. There's a language to watches. And I think whatever room you walk into, if it's a group full of people who don't know watches, novices or experts, Cartier always delivers the goods. You walk in the room, the worst comment you're going to get is, "Oh my God, nice watch." And I love that for that. I think some watches in that language kind of overstep.
Sure.
It might be a little bit too much. Somebody sent me a meme recently of the guy at the watch meetup with his Richard Mille kind of trying to blow the room out. And this is not that at all. This is just that quiet luxury that we've really come to appreciate from Cartier.
And you get the consistent design codes throughout the watches, which is great too. And I think that's a good segue to the Santos, the first wristwatch. Yep. And it, from the get-go, had these design codes that Cartier continues throughout all their watches.
And it's true, because there are certain looks, there are certain design codes that from across the room, you go, that's a Cartier. And to the point where other brands will do certain things and you go, you're knocking off a Cartier.
Yeah.
You're trying to be. And I'm gonna go into Pasha a little bit as one of the more unique icons in Cartier, as within a brand that does everything right and consistently. This one's almost a little jarring. Mm-hmm. It is a design code that's different amongst their design codes. I kind of joke, if you don't like Roman numerals, then you don't like Cartier. Or you like the Pasha.
Yeah.
The Pasha's the only one with Arabic numerals.
It still has that square, that railroad track square design that comes from the Santos. It's still in the Pasha, depends on the Pasha model. You can still see it in there. And I think that's what's maybe a little jarring, is the square within the circle design.
Sure. Yeah.
And you don't see it all the time, and it throws you off a little bit. Pasha's definitely kind of your creative piece, your artist piece.
Yeah, it's unique amongst that. Yeah, no, I completely agree. This is for the iconoclast within Cartier.
And the Pasha
I think it's really cool like that.
story is one of my favorite watch stories, which I believe we also have a video for. So make sure to check that out, because how the Pasha came to be is probably the most whimsical and fun watch story.
Yeah, well, and I do, as a person who talks about watches for a living, Cartier is a wealth of stories. It's a wealth of imagination. And every year they come out with something new and innovative and something that's groundbreakingly cool. We'll talk about this one later. Love that one, by the way. While we're doing this, I want to put a personal plug in.
Okay.
Cartier is one of those brands that will have these iconic watches and they take them away from us. And then 10, 15 years later, they kind of drop them back on us.
Yeah.
I want the Roadster back. It's time. Let's put a Roadster back in the order. Because that would be on this plate as far as I'm concerned.
Roadsters are honorable mention for sure.
Yep.
And I do think that is a great addition to any piece. Roadster, very sporty design, obviously was newer in Cartier's design. I think it just came out in the early 2000s.
Yeah, and it was one that it's a little bit strange. It was actually kind of designed with the U.S. market in mind.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the design of the case, the bracelet, was really the classic 50s American Roadsters.
Yeah.
It was really their design on that one. And me as a watch guy and a car guy, it's kind of perfect.
Yeah, it fits both.
Yeah, yep.
And you don't see it very often. Now on to one of my favorite watches, the Panthere.
Yeah.
This is the It Girl watch. We'll link that video too. One of the most comfortable watch bracelets I've ever worn.
Absolutely.
I mean, wears like butter, so comfortable. It was really designed to be more of a piece of jewelry. And I'm not the biggest advocate for stacking your bracelets with your watches because it beats them up. But I would advocate wearing bracelets and stacking the Panthere because that, I think, is where it really shines.
And I think Cartier is so leaning into that look.
Yes.
One of the other honorable mention, the Baignoire.
Yes.
They're doing a Bangle version of it coming out later this year that it just begs to be stacked. So yeah, you absolutely nailed it with that. It is a functional bracelet, if you will, and I love it for that. It's just gorgeous. It's luxurious. It's luscious. It's just a fantastic watch.
And I think it really shines in a smaller case shape, whereas like the world has been trending a little bigger. The Panther always stayed small, which is great. And you can also find some cool vintage Panthers.
You can, and honestly, the design iconography is so ingrained in that watch. From 5 feet away, I can't necessarily tell the vintage to the new.
Yeah.
You get it in hand. It's definitely a modern watch. It's heavier. It's the construction's actually better now.
Right.
The old ones might have been not the best as far as weight goes. Where especially this one, particularly in gold, is phenomenal. And actually, that new quadrant dial that we just got in.
It's really pretty.
We saw it in Geneva. I was a fan. Seeing it in other lights and seeing it on wrist, it's even better. So
Great watch.
nailed it again. Yeah, you did a good job.
Put in your collection. And last but not least, Ballon Bleu.
Yes, yeah. Actually, internationally, they're #1 seller, which is incredible. Again, very, very comfortable. The way that the head sits between the wrist bones is just lovely. Every size. Is it a men's watch? Sure. Is it a ladies' watch? Yep, absolutely. You can put it on your kid. It's just that perfect watch. The design was actually from a worn river stone.
Yeah, I was going to say the pebble, right? And it really does look that when you get it up close. And the way they've put the crystal onto the watch, it looks like it's in a river.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
It's
No, it
beautiful.
really does. Yeah. Absolutely love it. So please, if you have any interest in any of these watches, reach out. We'd love to see you. If you're in Scottsdale, if you're in anywhere in Colorado, stop on by. Yeah, we'd love to talk to you about watches.